we a little different when it
Yeah,
comes to
yeah,
stage
yeah,
presence.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
in
yeah.
America, oh yeah, them niggas gonna be wobbling, pants hanging half down, bored as hell, half to sleep because they high as hell on
Right, yeah.
stage.
Akon is trippin'. His new hairline is matching his energy here, but I'm not surprised. Originally, I was going to write a video about what Akon said about having dozens of children isn't as far-fetched as people made it out to be. However, this came across my desk before I could start that. Thank the algorithm it did, because it gave me the chance to talk about a glaring issue in the African community. If you didn't know, this is Akon, who was made a millionaire profiting off of those very same people he's speaking of. Them bumbling negs. If you didn't know, Akon is responsible for the rise of people like T-Pain, Cardinal Official, French Montana, but most famously Lady Gaga. What Akon is doing is simply doing what a lot of continental Afrikaans do to African Americans. Dividing us, as if we aren't cousins. Shitting on us only to appease a superiority complex put in place by the same colonizers that enslaved and oppressed our people. Refusing to learn from our mistakes that put us at a disadvantage against the milky mutants in the first place. You all know me. I try to be as nuanced as possible. I do not let feelings drive my opinion. Akon would have a point if he didn't generalize. He is right, there is a culture of artists who are like that, but not nearly all, and we'll get back to that. However, continental African performers are different than African American performers. There are many reasons why that is. Afrikaans and some Afro-Caribbean weren't stripped away from all of their cultural traditions during slavery and colonialism. So Akon sees a familiarity and pride with them he cannot see in us. Whereas African Americans, we are a people who found our own way. A way that increasingly became counterculture to everything considered right. For example, whether you believe it or not, sagging is a direct fuck you to what is proper. You're supposed to wear a belt to keep your pants from falling. We said, fuck that. This is why in the 20-something years of sagging, when the jeans went from oversized baggy to fitted super tight, sagging remained. Not only this, African Americans have little control over who becomes our performers, and that's become increasingly evident over time because of demand. Mainstream media don't want intelligence. It wants buffoonery. Therefore the performers in our community who get the shine are the buffoons. Sometimes it surprises me, but doesn't that people like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole exist and flourish? Well, those guys are in direct lineage to people like Dr. Dre and Jay-Z. That's why they are where they are. Matter of fact, look at all the successful artists who signed acts after themselves. I could go on, but I don't want to stray off topic too far. Point is, black people who have control give us quality typically. Where we don't, be get Tekashi 6ix9ine, Kevin Gates, Kodak Black, and the list goes on. Back to Akon's generalization though. However, people like Akon never want to admit this. We, African Americans, are the blueprint. African Americans in the showbiz as we know it invented the performance. The names Michael Jackson, Prince, and James Brown exemplify that. That list continues with Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson, and Beyoncé. This extends into hip-hop with people like Nas, Busta, and Kendrick. If you ever seen one of these performers, you know you're getting a performance. So his whole characterization of African American performers is fucked up. Continuing without African Americans, the chances for continental Africans to prosper in the States goes to nil. That's with every industry in the States. Without us, people like Akon wouldn't have even been able to move here. So it baffles me they keep this superiority complex about themselves. He mentioned the Ugandan kids. You know where those kids got that from? African American kids posting dancing on YouTube. From Twerk Team to Soulja Boy, to the billions of views of black American kids making up moves and dance routines and posting them online. There was like half of a decade where Atlanta dances were all the rage, and finishing out the decade was Jersey, Philly, Baltimore club dances. That is us. It's been, is, and is going to be us. Shoot, I think the rise of Afrobeats is directly attributed to the rise of hip-hop in the world. Everything about it screams hip-hop. This all being said, I think it's swank that people like Akon continue to do the moon cricket's work for them. Dividing us with trivial means. Long as we continue to allow that to happen, we'll forever be lost in the sauce, and that's on Mama Africa.